Yay Networks.
Hello.
Hey.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Laura.
And this is Cheers to That Shit. What's been going on? How's life?
Oh, it's good. It's good. I had a friend who that reached out to me on Instagram the other day. Our kids all went to school together and her daughter's getting married. So she was asking me a bunch of questions. I was telling her about the podcast. I was like, yeah, we just kind of talk about all the bullshit of planning a wedding. I was like, I'm not going to tell you how to plan it. We're just going to talk about it.
We're just going to talk shit about it.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll get some nice tidbits in there.
So her daughter's out in Denver and I was like, yay, spread the word. Let everybody in Denver and
shout us out, baby.
Shout us out. So she said she had watched a few episodes. So
Oof.
She said it was funny and it was very interesting.
Thanks.
So yeah, it was fun to reconnect with an old friend.
Yeah. Well, what did I do this past weekend? Oh, my aunt was in town. So we threw my mom a surprise retirement party because she doesn't work anymore.
And
fucking
she's
lucky bitch.
So I know she was really disappointed to leave that job too.
I know. Yeah, it was a hard
she just loved
breakaway.
It so
it was
much.
a hard breakaway for her. It was sad. She cried many tears and no, it was really funny because we had a sash and so my oldest, who's 4, she was holding the sash and when my mom walked in, we were all like, surprise! Yeah. And Buggy was like, happy birthday! And I was like, no, baby, retired. And she was like, happy tired. And I was like, yeah, well, yeah, that lines up too.
That does kind of go together.
That's also it. Yeah. So we had that, which was really fun. And then we just, ate and hung out. We were all pretty hungover.
Just like a house party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. And then Saturday I was like, oh, what's happening with my life? This was a horrible decision.
What, to drink?
I was so hungover.
Oh.
I don't think I've been that hungover in
I haven't been hungover in a long time.
Oh my God. I was like, this is why, I contemplate in life. Should I just be sober? And I'm like,
well, nobody wants that. And I mean, I don't want to be sober. I still like going out and drinking, but your hangovers change the older you get.
I have started getting more nauseous. Like I swear it was like right after I turned 30. Mm-hmm. I just was like every morning after I drank, I'm like, bleh.
No, mine's like sinuses. My head's all congested. It's like I dip my head in a bucket of water and it weighs like 500 pounds.
No.
It's just all.
Well, and then, with 2 kids.
Oh, that's the worst.
Fuck. And they don't get it. And I'm like, can you shut the fuck up? Like, I'm not answering. I'm not taking questions today, actually.
I'm going to lay on the couch. Can you just bring me Gatorade and crackers, please?
There are sometimes like, oh God, when was it? It had to have been like, I think it was like New Year's Eve. We weren't like super hungover. We just stayed up way later than we normally do. So we have these beanbag chairs upstairs, but they fold out and they have like full-size mattresses in them.
Oh, wow.
So we like laid them out to have like a really fun palette and like have a movie day.
Yeah.
And that lasted all for like 10 minutes. And they're like, mommy. And I'm like, why is no one saying daddy?
It's a movie day.
Shut up. I just need to sleep, please.
I remember that. It was like, we're going to build forts today and lay on the couch all day.
Isn't that fun? And they're like, no, mommy, do you want to play doctors? And I was like, yeah, can I just do surgery on me? I'm going to lay here and be in surgery for a while.
Give me some medicine to make me go to sleep.
Mommy doesn't feel good. What do you have? Yeah. So no, it was really fun. It's always nice when she comes. So I had a good time. Good old grand time. And that's awesome. It. The end. No more stories of my life.
That's all right.
Well, today,
what are we talking about?
Exactly. We're going to be talking.
Actually, I know what we're talking about.
What are we doing today? We're going to be talking about the pros and cons of an outdoor wedding. And before you're like, I'm skipping this episode, it's boring. It's not.
It's really not.
Because
boring.
We're a lot of fun and we're funny.
Well, I mean, no, it really isn't a boring topic because I think a lot of people want to get married.
I think a lot of people fantasize, romanticize the idea of an outdoor wedding, but there's a lot of logistics that go into it. So we'll start off by talking about the pros so that you all get a good idea and you think, oh, this is such a good idea. And then we'll change your mind. We'll tell you why that's not a good idea. So the first one, like we said, it's because getting married outside is very picturesque.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So there's 2 different ways you can get married.
I mean, depending on
where you are.
Depending on where your destination is.
So there are venues that are out that have outdoor venues and that they do, it's like part outdoor, indoor, whatever.
Right.
And then you could just get married. Like if you're doing a destination wedding to like a legit, not like a resort, but like a legit, like mountain or whatever. And you just pick pick a space and you're getting married, or you get married in a park. Kind of depends on where you're getting married, but it can be very, very pretty.
Yeah. I think, why wouldn't it be?
Exactly. Unless, you get married next to a cow farm and there's cow poop all over the place.
Well,
unless you like that kind of thing.
There's that.
I'm not gonna down you. That's what you're into. Also outdoors, you got a lot of natural light, which is very nice for photographers because they can utilize that and they can play with that. You're not under fluorescence because nobody looks good under fluorescence. Yeah. And it's not
but
cute.
it also that would depend on like the time of day, and is it a cloudy day, is it a sunny day, because sometimes taking pictures outside at noon in
I was just
the
gonna
bright
say,
sun isn't so great.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people too have gotten married outdoors and they use the morning light like at the beach, and those pictures always look absolutely
Is there anything at the beach
phenomenal.
that doesn't look good? Unless it's like a tsunami.
If you're there and I'm not there, it doesn't look good. If I'm not there and someone else is there, it's not looking great for me.
Yeah.
But no, I think there's a lot of different ways you can play with the light outside, which makes it really nice for photographers. And then because the outdoors are so nice, and again, this is depending on where you are, but I will say, even if it's a venue or if it's just like, overlooking the ocean, you don't have to have a lot of decor.
Right. Because the scenery of where you are is the decor. And I think that's probably why a lot of people pick outdoor spots or destinations, is because of that reason.
Yeah. Like I got married, my venue it was outside, and then they had like whatever that house is called. And
a bed and breakfast?
No, like that starts with a P, I think. I just can't think my brain. Anyway, it had like where we had the reception.
Pavilion?
Thank you. And
we're playing word games today.
Word games.
Sounds like
it's charades. But the outdoor, we could have like decked it up. I've seen weddings there that have like gone all out and like done the most. But we didn't we had like an arbor with some flowers on it and kept it pretty simple because it's really pretty. There's not a lot that needed to be done. And if you're getting married, I don't know why I'm saying like I'm going to paint a picture. Because this is what I'm picturing when I'm saying outdoor wedding. For some reason, it's like a mountain-esque, kind of like a Greenland situation where you're like on this like rocky area overlooking the ocean, and it's just really pretty. That's what I'm thinking when I say outdoor wedding. I know most people are like, yeah, that's not what my outdoor wedding looked like, but that's what I'm envisioning.
I'm thinking park, beach.
Yeah.
You're at a venue, but it has some landscaped outdoor area where you could have the ceremony and then do the reception.
Even
inside.
like if there's venues that are on mountaintops and like they have their outdoor area and then their pavilion that's inside.
Right. And I think a lot of couples, when we talk, well, I don't know, this is just my opinion, but when I think outdoor wedding, I think you're getting married locally wherever you live.
Yeah.
You've picked a venue where you're going to get ready, where the restrooms are, where this and that, and they have an outdoor area of their property that's set up for people who want to get married outside. And that equals stress.
Yeah. But
stress.
Also, when you get married outside, before we talk about the stress factors, most of the time when you're getting married outside, you can accommodate larger parties.
Yeah.
You could really make it fit any kind of wedding vision,
especially
that you have.
If everything's taking place, like not just the ceremony.
No, yeah. If everything's outside, you can really fit a lot more people.
Yeah.
There's a local park here in Raleigh that overlooks downtown, and there are a lot of weddings that happen. And the weddings that I've seen happen there have been smaller, like 25 or less. But you could probably work with them and figure out something and have huge wedding out there because it's huge.
Yeah.
You could have a really nice situation. And again, you wouldn't need a lot of decor.
Space,
You wouldn't need a lot of, you would need some other stuff, but it's beautiful. Your pictures that you'd have, and there's enough shade too. I feel like that too is something that comes into the natural light, is if there's shading. Like Jackie's wedding was outside and it was under all those trees. Yeah. Which, because when time did she get married at?
June.
Time.
Oh. Hey, that
time
could have been
It's
anything. I think it was like 4.
Okay, yeah. So the
Yeah.
sun wasn't, but I mean, it was still nice.
Yeah, it was kind of an overcast day, and that's a different story.
But still,
Yeah.
it was nice.
It was late afternoon.
Well, that's all the pros we have.
Because we have a bunch of cons.
No, but can you think of anything else that's like outside?
Well, I mean, a lot of people just, it could be your personality. It could be things that you and your significant other are into. Maybe you're very outdoorsy people.
Yeah.
You love the beach, or you just love the water. You love to be outside. You like to hike. So that seems very common if you want to have that type of ceremony or reception or event altogether. So, I mean, there are a lot of pros to having it. They're all, we've just talked about.
I feel like
it can be really great, but the fact that I'm just saying the fact that weddings can be stressful in and of themselves, there's a lot of things that become cons that aren't necessarily cons to having an outdoor wedding. Cause I really can't think of anything bad about getting married outside other than things that are out of your control.
Yeah.
And they cause more stress.
I feel like for some reason in my brain, when I think outdoor wedding, I do think smaller wedding. I don't know why, but I just think smaller, intimate, more free, like able to kind of do what you want.
Yeah, I don't see like a 200 person outdoor wedding with the reception and everything. Maybe ceremony and maybe going in, but like you said, when you picture Greenland or something like that, that to me seems very remote.
Yeah.
And that somewhere you would want to take your very
close
friends and family too. So I
agree.
agree.
Well, we're going to take a little breaky break and then we'll be back and we'll tell you why everything is wrong. Alrighty.
Okay.
Oh, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say every time we come back in, we're hysterical laughing because our comeback in is so freaking awkward.
It's like we sit there in silence for a second and we're both like, are you going to do it?
Am I going to do it? Am I going to do it?
Am I going to do it? And then we just like both kind of start saying random shit at the same time. We're professionals.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny because sometimes when I watch our episodes back, I think to myself, what were we talking about that made us laugh so hard when we were coming back in? But seriously, the random shit that happens on our breaks is...
This one wasn't too bad. There have been times where we've gone in and it's been like 15 minutes. And then Riley, our producer, is like, okay, ladies, can we this is like, I have a job I actually have to do. I can't just sit here and listen to your shit all day.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So anyway.
All right. So we're talking about the cons now of an outdoor wedding. The number one thing I'm going to talk about is unwanted critters.
That's number one?
For me.
Oh, I would say weather.
Well, we'll get to it.
Okay.
Unwanted critters. And I don't mean just like bugs and mosquitoes and whatnot. I mean, like, I'm lumping, like, if you get married on the beach, critters, people walking by. Like unwanted people or birds flying over, like bird poop.
Wait, what do you mean unwanted critters? Like people?
Yeah.
Oh, you put people in the critter category? Hey, critters, can you move? We're trying to get married over here. That's actually...
Could you imagine if someone said that to you? I'd be like, what?
That's actually really funny because I went to a beach wedding and some people, it was later in the day. So people were starting to pack up and get off the beach. But this one person was still sitting on his beach chair. And as they're setting up like the altar or like where they're going to get married, he flips his chair around as if he's going to be a spectator now. But it would have been, if you're the audience looking at the couple, he was directly behind that.
Oh,
and one of the ushers in the wedding had to go over and be like, you want to watch us, cool, but you need to move your chair.
You need to move your fucking chair, dude.
So there you go. You little critter. You need to get out of the way.
Get out of my way. Yeah. I just think about like, just in general, like unwanted spectators.
Yeah. Well,
we're calling them critters because I feel like, but like bugs or just like,
actual critters, like
actual critters,
animal critters.
Yeah.
That would not be a good thing, but people critters, you're gonna have that if you're getting married, especially if it's not too remote. If you're on the beach, if you're at a park, you have to expect there's going to be bystanders.
Like like I said, I got married outside, and our venue, it's in the middle, not in the middle. It's like right pretty much in downtown Raleigh, but like on like a little bit outside of like the main streets of it.
Yeah, but still on a street.
It's still not busy. Yeah. So, and it's on a corner and there's a sidewalk that goes around it, but they've done a really good job of like trying to make it more private with like how they do. Yeah. And like plants and whatnot. So when you walk by the sidewalk of the actual outdoor venue or the actual outdoor ceremony area, you can't see, but you go a little bit further and you can. So there were people as I'm walking down the stairs of like the front, because it's a historical home. So I was walking down, there were people standing on the corner and I'm in the middle of a panic attack because I'm like, I fucking don't like being the center of attention and I'm about to get married in front of all these people. It's like the most intimate moment of my life. And you have these fucking strangers that are like, oh my God, she's
Good luck,
gorgeous. Oh my God. And I'm just like holding on to my dad. I'm like, I just want to die. What is this shit? It was so fucking awkward. But I also have been one of those people critters as well. So
yeah.
it's hard not to. Like you see a wedding
I went
and you
up
just
to a couple in a restaurant.
oh Lord, I bet you did. Oh my God.
They were coming, it was an outdoor patio situation and they're all coming up like after their ceremony, I guess to have cocktails or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, congratulations. You guys look so cute.
But in that moment, they love it. But it's like, you know, at certain moments.
I'm in the industry. So I'm one of those weirdos that follows everybody.
When we went to Vegas and we had that photo shoot, we were in white. Everyone thought that we had gotten married. So people were like, congratulations. And like, thank you. Are you going to the chat? We were like, oh no, it's a photo. And we were just fine. Like, all right. Yeah. No, we got married. Thank you so much. Like, all right. Oh, girl. Anyway.
Yeah. So
there's that. Critters.
There's
People critters, animal critters, all the critters. You have to worry about that. Also, you mentioned this in the, previous part of this. My brain is off today. I don't know what the fuck is going on. You need 2 plans.
You have to have a backup plan.
Yeah. Like if it's going to rain, you got to figure this out. And there are some times where, if you're renting a tent,
hurricane, I don't know,
but like
high winds.
But if you're renting a tent, you have to make that decision like a week or 2 before.
Sometimes it's before
Sometimes
that.
it is, but like
Sometimes
it's kind of like
that.
we need to know now. And if you say no, you can't change your mind if it starts raining.
And I have a few specific reasons why. If you're at a venue and you're going to get married outside, and inclement weather is coming, you have to make a decision like maybe even like 2 weeks prior, because they have to have staff, extra staff at the venue to flip your room. Yeah. So unless there's 2 rooms, unless you can have the ceremony in one area inside and then move to the reception area, most do not. So if you have to get married in the same space that your reception is going to be, there has to be a flip of that room, and there's extra staff that is needed for that. Yeah. And it has to be done in a quicker amount of time. So those decisions have to be made in advance of the venue being able to get the staff, put them on the schedule and so forth. So it's not just like you wake up in the morning and it's drizzling and you decide, I don't want to do that. Yeah. You can't do that. If you decide that you're going to go through with the outdoor part of it and you're going to have a tent just in case it rains, that tent is going to get delivered and set up. Yeah. If you're doing that, and then if you decide, oh, it's beautiful out, we're not going to use it. Too bad. So sad. Too bad. It's already set up there. Yeah. You have to make that decision. And it's stressful. It's a stressful decision. I would say that is probably the most stressful part about doing something outdoors. But you have to have that second plan. I went to a wedding. Ryan was in it. It's one of his like childhood friends. They've been friends forever, and they got married outside, and it was in May, so not even hurricane season for us, but it did start raining during the ceremony. And it was kind of one of those things where it's like, well, shit, like the ceremony is happening, so everyone had brought umbrellas, and so the guy next to me, he was sitting next to me, and I was like, can I cuddle in, because I didn't bring one, but everyone had them. And I mean, I'm sure those pictures turned out beautifully. Yeah. The best thing you can do in that situation is to go with it. Yeah. I mean, because it's too late at that point. It's too late at that point. And if you're in a, whatever the case may be, if you wake up, it's cloudy that morning and it might sprinkle, you kind of just have to go with it. If the rain comes, you pull the umbrellas out. I mean, and we've talked about too, it's like you get to the actual day of your wedding and you're kind of just like, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. But if it's like, a front is coming across the country and you're in torrential rain that is socked in for 5 days, okay, you can make an inclement, your second plan for that. But sometimes you're just going to have to go with the flow. Yep. Que sera, sera.
Another thing is allergies, like allergy season, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but there are different allergies that happen for every single person all year long.
You're going to have to take some Zyrtec and just,
right. But like tissues,
I mean, food allergies. Now we have to worry about allergies.
But like if you're outside, they're like, if you're especially in pollen, you're going to have like pollen everywhere.
If you're planning an outdoor wedding
in springtime,
in pollen season, you are dumb.
You're rude. You're rude.
Dumb. Because everybody knows,
and I'm declining.
Pollen season is worse than a snowstorm in the South.
Yeah, no, it's so bad. So that's something. And then also just other elements like obviously I was about to say besides weather, but like wind is weather, but you know what I mean? Like besides rain, like you have, if it's crazy sunny outside, that's going to make it hot as fuck. And guys are in jackets, like that shit's hot. If it's crazy windy.
If it's windy, they probably won't set tents up.
Well, no, but like, even if it is, like, if you're just like standing out there and it just happens to be a super windy day, I mean, your hair's done, your makeup's done. There are things that just
are uncontrollable.
Yeah, you can't control the fucking wind and the sun. I remember like our ceremony was super beautiful, but it was October and it was a gorgeous day. But even in October, that sun, it still got hot.
Well, it's that time of year when it's a little chilly in the morning and you have all this, little sweater, little jacket. And then by 2:00, you're like,
oh my God.
Everything off.
And then, but the night was beautiful. Like the weather at night is gorgeous. It's so nice.
I think for me, weather is really the biggest thing. I mean, when the weather gets really bad too, and we'll just talk about the weather for a minute because we've had this happen. I think you actually had this happen to you. You have to think about everybody else as well.
Yeah.
Maybe flights get canceled into your area if there's a hurricane or a snowstorm, or the wind is bad and the planes have to circle before they can land, or it's just not safe to be on the roads. You have to think about the other vendors that are participating.
Yeah.
If there's a flood, are they able to drive and get to your wedding? So, I mean, I know those are, extreme situations, but they're definitely things that you have to think about.
We had, was it Hurricane Matthew happened the week before our wedding. I think I've talked about this. And one of my bridesmaids lived out by the beach, and all the roads except for like one, she lives maybe 2 hours away. And that's, I think, pushing it. Like, I think it's less than 2 hours away from Raleigh. And it took her over 4 hours to get here because all the roads were closed or flooded, or like she was trying.
Yes, the wedding wasn't even there. She was trying to get out of where she was to get here.
Yeah.
And that's a consideration
and the ground was like soggy and everything like that here. But like, I know there were people who were getting married the weekend before. You think about cater. Anyway, now we're going on a tangent here. But
just one more thing I'll say about that with weather is wedding insurance. And that could be like a whole nother episode, but this is one of those situations where you definitely want to get wedding insurance.
Yes.
We bought wedding insurance for Jackie with Jackie's wedding.
We had to have it.
And it's not just the weather. A lot of venues require that now as well. But especially if, I guess, you're doing something outdoors, but you never know what could happen. What if somebody gets in an accident? What if one of your vendors gets in an accident on the way there? What if it's your photographer and now you can't have Now you don't have a photographer to shoot your wedding. How are you protected financially? So again,
could you imagine?
It could happen. What if they got sick?
What would you have done if Autumn got in a wreck?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
you are in the industry, so you could have made some very last minute phone calls. For me, who wasn't in the industry beforehand, I would have
any last minute phone call could have rectified that.
I would have been like, you got to fucking help me. You got to call somebody. You got to call. You need to fix this. You need to call someone and get someone over here now. I mean, it's in 3 hours.
It doesn't even have to be anything bad like an accident. I mean, what if you woke up and you're sick?
And this is a wedding insurance.
And you can't, get there. So, but it does happen a lot because of weather. That was my initial point. So we should talk about wedding insurance on another episode, but,
have fun. What a riveting.
Well, I mean, it's
episode.
People don't think about that.
No, they don't.
It was very minimal. The cost of the policy was very minimal, considering being able to recuperate any finances that you put towards those services, which was the number one thing. Just protecting yourself.
Protect yourself.
Anywho.
All right. Any other cons besides, all the obvious ones, all the critters one? That one's funny to me.
Critters. People are critters.
People are critters. I'm telling you what, I've been thinking about that as you sat there and said, if I look back in because what I'm picturing is like, in Lilo and Stitch, those like obesely huge, like people on like, cause like Lilo takes pictures.
I haven't watched that movie in years.
Yeah, me either, obviously. I'm just picturing like some like really big man sitting in his like teeny tiny little beach chair, just like sitting there like eating his beach snacks, watching this wedding. It's like, bro,
that was
read the room.
That was at my niece's wedding.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just keep picturing that. Like, if you look back at those pictures,
like he's like,
just like a rando
wedding. I'm just gonna turn my beach chair around. I got my cooler.
Like, this is what goes through
honey, I'll be up for cocktails a little later. I got a wedding to watch.
I got a wedding to watch, baby. Like, what goes through people's heads? Like, he turned that chair around to be like, that was an intentional decision. Yeah. That he was like, yeah, I'm part of this now.
Yeah, he certainly wasn't thinking about the couple or any of the guests.
He's like, this is fine.
He's like, oh, wedding. Yeah, okay, I'll be up in a little bit, honey.
He probably felt like, I'm at the beach. They're here. I was here first. They can't tell me to leave. I'll fucking watch this shit.
Well, it was Jersey, so.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Where's the beach? Okay. Anyway. All right. We'll take another break.
Yeah.
Be back with our further opinions.
And we're back.
Here we are. And I was about to say Ferner. No one else would think that was funny.
We have a little inside joke going on here.
It's dumb.
Emily's notes on the little whiteboard in front of us. It's a challenge. It's a
I write
handwriting challenge
quickly. I will say your
handwriting is similar to mine. So I just need to know what your letter construction is, and then I'll be pretty good.
I combine letters. Like I flow into. It's like a mix between
cursive and
whatever the other one is, just print.
Yeah.
I was going to say just, right. Yes. So my further looks like Fertner. So over the break, we're like, and in Fertner news, Fertner more. It's not funny to you guys. So, we're sitting here
That's one
laughing.
of those, oh gosh, you had to be there.
You're like, wow, y'all really lost your touch. 30 something episodes in, and it's not great anymore. Anywho,
but
so I think we're funny.
Yeah, it's good.
In Fertner news, when you get married outside, depending on if you're not in a venue, you don't have to have a preferred vendor list. I take that as a pro.
Oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that. I saw that. I saw you had that written there, but I wasn't really thinking about that. But that is true.
Yeah, you don't have to follow the guidelines. Yep. You can have the vendors,
and that could be very appealing if you are adamant about not following a preferred vendor list from a venue. Although I don't think, little side note, I don't think we're quite there yet. I think there are a lot of venues who do have preferred vendor lists. Yeah. But I think you can still I have this person, maybe they have to pay an extra fee, or maybe they have to be evaluated or interviewed. I don't think we're quite there yet where it's like, no.
I think there are probably some venues that are like, no, these are the vendors that you have to use. But most of the venues that I know that have that preferred list are open of and you might have to pay an extra fee or you might have to do something, but it is.
Yeah, I was just reading a post about that today on social media about that extra fee for using someone not on the list. And it was a whole, bunch of people's opinions. But anyway, that is a good benefit of having something outside, like at a park or at a beach or something that's not associated with it.
You can have the vendors that you actually want. And now it could be a con because listen, we get that some people like the preferred vendor list. For a couple that doesn't know anything, which is why we're here to help you now, you have that guideline list of preferred vendors. So if this is obviously, if you've never got married before and you're getting married outside, not in a venue, it might be a little difficult to find those people.
The people that you're looking for.
Right. Because you don't know where to start. You've never done it before. Yeah. But being in the industry, I do not like preferred vendor lists.
No, absolutely not.
So I take this as a pro.
Absolutely. We should do an episode on preferred vendor list.
Didn't we?
I don't know.
I feel like we just trash them all the time. We just trash them.
Well, we're not trashing people. We're trashing the principle.
I can trash some people. You give me a list of people, I'll look into them. I'll trash them. I don't give a fuck.
It's the concept of the preferred vendor list that I don't like. I mean, whatever.
I know,
Let's not talk about
I
that
know.
today because we'll
talk about that next week.
Yes,
No, we
absolutely.
won't. I don't. We'll talk about it some other time.
Yeah.
I'm like next week. Also, if you're getting married outside of a venue, outdoors, availability, you can get married on a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Get married anytime you want. Free for all. You just have to make sure your vendors are available.
Yeah.
But again, we've talked about weekday weddings as well. Most vendors are available during the week, but they are becoming very popular because it gives people, especially if you're doing a destination wedding, it gives people that time to do whatever.
Travel,
yeah. The wedding that I just went to, they got married on a Thursday. On a Wednesday. Whatever.
Well, it's a destination, so it becomes a vacation.
Yeah.
It becomes a vacation. Once you commit to going to a destination wedding, then you can, whenever you fly in or drive in or arrive, all of a sudden, it doesn't matter if it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I don't even know where I am right now.
Right. It's like, what day is it?
I have no idea what's going on.
It kind of becomes a little vacation. So availability is very, I think that is a pro as well. If you're getting married locally in your community, maybe you're going to go to a park.
Yeah.
There might be other things that the park is reserved for different things. So you may have to work around.
You may have to deal with other people critters.
Right. But I mean, it might be like, oh, so-and-so is having a, I don't know.
Third birthday party.
Right. If it's like a little pavilion thing that you have to rent like at a park, you know what I'm talking about, like a cover or something like that.
But most of the time, like, especially if you're just getting married, like on the beach or something, like you can just kind of pop in, blow out.
Not
if
so
it's
much,
small,
'cause I have a story.
Well, no,
for
but that wasn't a small wedding. But if it's small, like my aunt got married on the beach, and
if it's just you and your partner and a handful of people,
we literally walked on the beach,
did the deed,
goodbye.
Yeah,
and we were there for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
it was quick, easy, beautiful, easy breezy cover girl.
Easy breezy, beautiful,
easy breezy,
beautiful
cover
girl.
Yeah, tomato. So, so the availability wise, but
should be pretty open for you.
Yeah. And then additional costs though, and this could be another big con of getting married outside with a venue or without a venue.
Yeah, definitely. And I was saying I had a story for that. So my niece got married, I don't know, a year or so ago. On the beach in New Jersey, and she picked a venue, and they said, yes, we have space. The venue was on the beach, and they said, yes, we have space on the beach to get married.
Yeah.
So, perfect.
Love it. Check. Done.
And then she kind of reached out to me, and she was like, Aunt Laura, I need help. What's going on? Whatever. The area on the beach was like a fenced off little area of sand, basically. And it was small, and it was not going to fit her, not even her wedding party, let alone the amount of guests.
Well, because you'll have 75 people and just
in the immediate
family.
There were some other things that went into that. It had been shrunk down, but that's really neither.
So you couldn't even see the ocean from boxed in.
You could, but there was a fence, so you had to look like over the fence and there's the beach,
which defeats the purpose of getting married on the beach.
Right. I mean, they say it's on the beach, but that's something else that you need to be cautious of and make sure you
like visit your venue,
read
before
all
you book.
that and read all the fine details in the print. She did visit the venue.
Yeah.
I think this was after a storm or something, and they had to kind of move things. Beach in Jersey is a lot different because you have to pay to get on the beach in New Jersey, but anyway, for the purpose of this conversation, she decided that wasn't going to work for her, and she wanted to get married like legit on the beach. So the wedding coordinator for the venue tried to help them out. Long and short of it is, they had to go to the town to get a permit.
Oh my God.
To get on the beach.
So it was totally separate then from the venue at this point.
At this point, yes. I mean, the venue was helping them, but it was still separate. So the chairs that the venue was going to provide, they couldn't do it on the beach because now it's a city town thing. Oh. So then she had to rent chairs, and that had to be delivered. And then you had to only blah, blah, blah. There was a bunch of other things that went into it, but you just don't know. Even if you want to get married at a park, you need, if it's a city park, you need to find out through your city, do you need a permit to be there? I know you were talking about the one, I'm assuming you're talking about Dorothea Dix. You know, that's owned by the city. You might need a permit to do that. So, and it might differ depending on how long you're going to be there, how many people. Can you bring in tables and chairs, dance, whatever?
Well, you have to pay for all that too. That would all be additional cost because that's not provided, obviously, because there's no venue. That's not provided by your venue. And I will say, tents are fucking expensive.
They're very expensive.
And not even just like the tent itself, but to make it look not like a tent. Is so expensive.
Well, I mean, there's delivery, there's setup, there's tear down,
all that, but that's still just the tent. And then you see the tent and you're like, oh, so then you have to jazz it up. And that's expensive as well.
Well, if you need electrical run out there for your DJ, fans if it's hot, heaters if it's cold, just the logistics,
lights,
does
market lights,
does the park allow tents to be set up on their property? So there can be a lot of additional costs. There could be different types of alcohol permits that you have to get from the city if you're going to be serving alcohol. So just, you know, from a cost standpoint, I wouldn't look at outdoor weddings as a cost saver if you're going to be doing all of these other things that might require you to pay all these additional costs. It's just things to be aware of and things to look into. But I know for her, you know, in the big picture, she got what she wanted. She was actually out on the beach. It was for a very short amount of time. There was only like 3 or 4 rows of chairs set up on each side for the family. The rest of us really kind of just stood all the way around. And they walked out, had their ceremony and came back in. So she got what she wanted. What the venue was offering was not going to serve her in what she wanted.
Which is crazy. Cause I guess that's the other thing too. Like if we mentioned, it can accommodate a large party, but again, I was thinking it would accommodate a large party outside of a venue. But if you're getting married at a venue that has an outdoor space, you still might be very limited
to how many space there actually is.
Yeah. Because if it's on their property and their property is only but so big, you still may not.
The city may say you can have this 10 by 20 outdoor space to have a ceremony, and that wasn't going to work. So it was an interesting. It was interesting. And then one more thing I just thought I'd throw in that I was thinking about when I had my conversations with her was that the venue coordinator couldn't really help her now that it was a permitted through the city type of event because it technically wasn't their jurisdiction. They could coordinate and
she was the venue coordinator, not the wedding planner.
Exactly. And we talked about that on our last episode. So she was in charge of coordinating things at the venue. So once she had to get a permit from the city, call a rental company to get chairs, it became outside the scope of the work of the venue coordinator. And I was like, I'll do it.
Which just further pushes our point of how right we are about a wedding planner versus a venue coordinator. God, could we be any more on point with everything?
It was a beautiful wedding. It was exactly what she wanted. She got her wedding on the beach. It was fantastic. The weather was amazing. And, all around it was a great day. But there was a lot of things that came up at the last minute that she was like, Aunt Laura, what do I do?
I feel like too, an outdoor wedding, you would have more of those last minute hiccups come up more than you would like an indoor wedding or even like a church wedding, which I've been to a church wedding and then they've had the reception outside and that makes it a little bit of a different feel. My other thing that I just thought of right now in this moment is if you have your entire wedding outside and you have food outside, that can get a bit icky.
You need bathrooms. There's a lot. Unless you're like on a resort or something. I mean, it literally, if you're in a field that you like, or you're in Greenland on your beautiful mountain.
But that's ceremony only. You can't continue to have your reception out there. Like that breaks this down into a whole nother situation.
Yeah. We should do an episode on like all the different types of vendors you need to have an outdoor,
like a true outdoor property. Wedding.
Yeah.
God, that would be, you're spending way more than your average.
We opened Pandora's box with this one.
I was just like food. And then I'm thinking of like, eating outside at nighttime and like all the gnats and the bugs and the
critters.
All the critters. All them damn critters coming up and eat your food.
Well, okay. So
raccoons. Could you imagine a raccoon coming? I'd kick it right in the face.
That just made me think of something else. I did go to an outdoor wedding. It was a ceremony. And then the reception was inside in the venue, but it was close to a street. You said yours was close to a street. I mean, in the middle of the ceremony, it's like ambulance. Woo, 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 like,
and you're like, yes.
Yeah, that just came to my mind.
You had
the people kind of peering. You had what do you mean a flyover?
A plane? Like an airplane?
Oh, you had a plane flyover. You didn't have like the Blue Angels doing a flyover. Oh, God. Everybody stop.
Yeah. Can everyone please be respectful?
No, but seriously, in all seriousness, like if you're outside, you have to accept noise critters. You have to accept the noise critters. Yeah.
You got the animal critters, the people critters, and the noise critters. Jesus, it's a mess. All right.
So everybody get married outside.
Yeah, just do it. It's great. Obviously, did we not convince you that this is the best thing you could possibly be doing? I don't know why you're not getting our message. Clearly, we've not communicated well.
We're going to get a lot of hate mail on this one.
People are going to be like, I got married outside and it was gorgeous. I got married outside too, okay? And it was beautiful. But I also went inside afterwards.
Did not get married outside.
Nope.
Not doing that.
No, I did like a 50-50.
I mean, I guess we did talk a little bit about the stress, but it can be stressful when you have to think of all of these potential scenarios.
We were worried about the hurricane.
Yeah.
And when it came that week, I was like, oh, well, there's definitely got to be another hurricane next weekend. So
I mean, the weather's the most beautiful, like after
I know.
hurricane.
I was like, we're good now. This is great.
Just like cleans it all out.
Yeah. I was like, ooh, beautiful blue skies, not so hot. All right. Anyway. That's it. Goodbye. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Follow us. Instagram and I was about to say Instagram and podcast. Instagram and TikTok. Cheers to that shit. Podcast, YouTube. Cheers to that shit. Shit is S_T. Do we do anything else? I don't know. Submit your stories.
Yes.
Submit your stories. If you got married outside and it was an absolute shit show, we want to hear about it. If it was great, don't fucking write us. I don't want to hear about your successes. That's your shitty outdoor stories.
We've never talked about like people's like opinions. Like, what if somebody has an opinion about
Sure, you can write your opinions. I might not read it, but just kidding. You can send it.
I'd love to hear stories about outdoor weddings. You know, the good, the bad, you know, your opinions on whether it was worth it, not worth it.
Yeah. Stories at cheerstoThatShit.com. Until next time.
I was just going to say that.
And Fertner more.
Oh, gosh.
The end.
All right, y'all. Have a great day.